Whoa.
Get ready for some thrilling action as we take you through 30 leopard encounters that will surely send chills down your spine. From attacking tourists to terrorizing villages, these encounters are not for the faint of heart, reminding us why leopards are some of the deadliest animals in the wild. Witness a mind-boggling scene from India. A bunch of people are standing with a net in their hands, waiting to catch a wild leopard that has brought chaos to a local town. They have no protective equipment or weapons to deal with the leopard if it were to avoid the net. Not to mention, leopards are some of the quickest creatures on the planet, so these people are putting their lives on the line to catch the beast. Now, catching the leopard is crazy enough, but the animal rescue team has an even bigger challenge once the beast is in the net: stopping all the disillusioned villagers who are hell-bent on killing the wild animal for the havoc it has caused. Amidst the chaos, everyone forgets how dangerous a wild leopard can be, even if it's trapped inside a net. And that's when things get a little out of control for these folks. The leopard was eventually released in a safe habitat. Leopards may be dangerous in the wild, but they're even more aggressive when they're being held in captivity against their will. The people here are gathered to catch a glimpse of a leopard that's been trapped by the authorities. Just because the beast is behind bars, a man thinks it's okay to provoke it so that it would jump and show itself to the locals. Little does he know, however, that he's making a mistake he'll regret for the rest of his life. Things take a dark turn when the leopard grabs the man's hand and bites down on it with deadly force. And even though everyone's desperately trying to free the man, the beast won't let him go that easily. Watching a man get his hand mangled was always going to cause panic among the crowd, but as they process the horrific event, the leopard is about to unleash an even bigger hell upon them. People are gathered up on rooftops because a wild leopard has made its way into an Indian village. A leopard roaming the fields is one thing, but it gets a little more dangerous when the beast walks into someone's home. Once that happens, the locals have to catch it, although it doesn't go as well as they'd hoped. It is pure chaos as the ferocious leopard escapes into the city, and with hundreds of people gathered out in the open, the beast is about to have a field day attacking them. In Tanzania, tourists have just hit the jackpot because they stumbled upon a leopard trying to hide from them. What they don't realize, however, is that the beast is not pleased with their presence. Enamored by the leopard's beauty, the tourists don't even notice the big cat's swinging tail, which usually means it's getting itself ready for an attack. And, well, it goes about as well as you'd think. With the leopard coming out of hiding and growling at the tourists, it's time for them to back off. After all, if they spend another second there, things could get dangerous real quick.
Whoa. Whoa. All right, I think it's probably
let's go. Time to go.
Not all leopards look like they're out for blood. This big cat at Nairobi National Park in Kenya, for instance, looks to be having the time of its life, rolling around on the grass in front of the tourists. Despite the leopard's playful mood, however, you've got to remember that it's still a predator. And just when the tourists think they're safe around the leopard, it reminds them why it is one of the deadliest animals in the wild. In yet another case of tourists not realizing just how dangerous leopards are in the wild, here's a family at Kruger National Park thinking it's okay to park right next to one of these big cats and take photos. They're ecstatic because you don't get to see a leopard from this close every day. But while they may have captured a few good photos, they're about to find out why parking next to an apex predator is perhaps not the best idea. Witness an extraordinary scene from India as two men frantically try to find a safe hiding spot from a wild leopard that's heading straight toward them. Things get way too close for comfort as the man narrowly avoids the clutches of the leopard and climbs into the truck. But that's not the only crazy part about this encounter. The leopard is about to face off against another adversary. It's an utterly bizarre situation. A pack of dogs surrounds the leopard as it tries to clamber its way into a building. That said, it's only a matter of time before the beast gets fed up with the dog's shenanigans and bites back. Rescue workers in central India are stationed on top of a rooftop, trying to tranquilize a leopard that's been terrorizing the city. But while their plan seems sound, they've grossly underestimated the sheer acrobatic ability of the leopard. It all kicks off as the leopard springs out from the roof and starts attacking people. Gunshots and screams fill the air as everyone scrambles to get away from the beast. With everyone panicking, including the leopard, something has to be done. And that's when the net comes out to catch the cornered beast. Thankfully, the bold strategy worked, and the rescue workers actually captured the leopard without harming it. Though naturally, the big cat doesn't look very comfortable in captivity. Speaking of leopards terrorizing towns, this big cat has just escaped from captivity at a rainforest research institute in India. It's desperately looking for its first target, which just so happens to be a tourist van. Time slows down for a moment as the majestic leopard leaps over a fence and hits the van, and if it weren't for the windows, the beast would have dealt some real damage. But the leopard isn't done quite yet. heading toward the village to find a more suitable victim. It's a beautiful afternoon as a cyclist makes his way through the Indian rainforest, taking in the breathtaking views. Little does he know, however, that this spell of serenity is temporary, because he is about to dive headfirst into mortal danger. Within a split second, things go from 0 to 100 as a leopard leaps out of nowhere and attacks the cyclist for no particular reason. What happens next, though, is maybe even more surprising. He's extremely lucky to have made it out alive. In Kruger National Park, tourists line up to take photos of wild animals when they hit the jackpot, an actual leopard. But while seeing a beast like this up close is rare, it goes without saying that it's also extremely dangerous. It's a mother lion trying to protect her cubs from anyone who tries to get close to them, even though she looks like she is about to attack. She's just telling people to back off and give her family some space. Seeing a regular leopard is one thing, but getting a glimpse of a snow leopard is on a whole other level, not only because these majestic beasts are extremely rare, but they're also solitary and elusive in the wild. It's a breathtaking view as the snow leopard bares its massive teeth and growls, showing everyone why it's such a majestic creature. That said, these white beasts are actually the least aggressive big cats towards humans, making them far less deadly than your average leopard. Just because you've captured a leopard doesn't mean it's going to be easy to release it back into the wilderness. These rescue rangers in India, for example, have been trying to help a big cat that refuses to leave its cage. The leopard is a bit too comfortable in the cage, and the handlers think it's because of the tranquilizer. The solution? Make the beast drink water, which sounds easier than it is. Once the leopard's got a pep in its step, it's time for attempt number 2. Of course, there's a real possibility that the beast doesn't head into the forest and instead turns around to attack the rescue staff. So this is the moment of truth for everyone. Leopards are often dubbed nature's nighttime ninjas, and there's a good reason for that. They stay hidden in trees and bushes throughout the day and come out at night to hunt, showing up when you least expect them. Seeing a leopard right next to you in the middle of the night has to be one of the most terrifying sights in the world. But while the driver does the right thing by slowly reversing away, the beast isn't going to let him go that easily. It's almost as if the leopard is stalking the driver, following his every move and looking for an opening to attack. He's very lucky he's inside the car, because the big cat shows no mercy to its victims. If there were an award for the dumbest person in the world, one of these folks would definitely be in the running. because rather than hiding themselves from a wild leopard, they keep their car doors open just to catch a glimpse. Leopards are some of the fastest predators in the wild, so there's no way these people can react quickly enough to avoid a leopard attack. Their lives are in grave danger, and they don't realize it. They're lucky the leopard wasn't in the mood for a fight. Speaking of people getting way too overconfident around a wild leopard, here's a man who thinks it's a good idea to treat this apex predator like a pet cat, letting it bite his arm and climb on top of him. It's a bizarre situation, as people keep telling him to be careful while he acts nonchalantly to appear cool in front of them. Sure, the leopard isn't attacking him right now, but that doesn't take long to change. The man is playing with fire as the leopard grows frustrated, and it's only a matter of time before the beast reaches its breaking point and attacks him. While adult leopards are deadly predators, baby leopards are often the opposite. This little guy in a Kenyan National Reserve, for example, has just spotted a photographer's foot hanging outside the safari vehicle, but it's not going to attack him. In many ways, the baby leopard behaves exactly like a cat would, playing around and being cute. Don't let this little guy's size deceive you, though. If it gets angry, it can still do some real damage. It's a busy afternoon in the city of Kalyan, where people are gathered amidst the hustle and bustle of the traffic to witness something extraordinary. A leopard has managed to climb into a building, and now the authorities are here to catch it. Unlike most other leopards that stray into towns, this big cat's a little more shy, crawling through little spaces in the building and refusing to come out. Not to mention, the leopard isn't bothered by the people either, making the rescue even trickier. If the leopard hiding away wasn't bad enough already, there's another wrench in the works. The street is filled with hundreds of people, and if the leopard were to jump out, it'd be pure chaos. Everyone knows what a lion's roar sounds like. After all, it's arguably the most iconic sound in the wild. But while that's majestic, it doesn't mean a leopard strays far behind with its roar. A leopard may not look as intimidating as the king of the jungle, but that doesn't make it any less dangerous. This apex predator also belongs to the same family, and its roars are just as majestic as the lion. And this right here is the perfect example. Witness a heart-pounding scene from India where the villagers have managed to catch a leopard using a very basic cage trap. And while they're all gathered around recording, the beast is not happy about its condition. The leopard had been wreaking havoc, and the people had to take drastic action to catch it. But now that it's behind bars, they don't quite know what to do with it. Besides, the big cat is extremely aggressive, and opening the cage could result in a tragedy. That's not even the worst part about this whole thing, though, because the leopard isn't the only animal in the cage. The villagers have locked a poor injured dog with him, too, using it as live bait. In the Savannah Private Game Reserve, rangers have just stumbled upon a majestic leopard casually walking through. However, it's not the leopard's presence that's surprising, it's what he does that catches the rangers off guard. Despite coming within mere inches of the rangers, the leopard walks by almost as if they don't exist. The beast isn't bothered by their presence at all, because this is his territory and he knows he's the boss here. Meet an adorable 5-month-old leopard from South Africa who loves to hop onto its keeper's back and play with him.
This is Azim. He is a 5-month-old leopard. Very frisky.
Leopards born and raised in captivity often grow up to be friendly and non-aggressive towards humans. In fact, oftentimes these beasts think of their keepers as their family.
But I love him. Leopards are, in Jewish thought, leopards are considered to be the most brazen of animals. Azut is the Hebrew word for the quality of...
At the end of the day, a leopard is always going to be a leopard, no matter how friendly it is, and if anything's even slightly off, it won't hesitate before attacking. Not to mention even a baby leopard playing with its handler can be too aggressive sometimes.
In Israel, only about 4 of them left. So now, if you want to see a leopard, come to Africa. See a beautiful leopard like this.
What happens when you put lions, leopards, and tigers all in a single habitat? Well, even though they can coexist in nature, lions don't particularly like individual leopards. And sometimes things can get a little out of hand. The handler is busy taking care of the lions, totally unaware of the dangerous situation that's unfolding behind him. He has no clue a leopard's getting ready to attack the lion, or that the tiger's also setting itself up to stop the leopard's attack. Things calm down by the time they reach the lions, meaning the handler can deal with it easily. That said, if the tiger hadn't stopped the leopard in its tracks, things could have gone wrong really fast for both the lion and the keeper. Most people don't realize just how gorgeous leopards are until they see them up close. For instance, these tourists in Sri Lanka have just stumbled upon a big cat in the wild and they can't help but admire it. Being solitary animals, leopards are already very hard to find in the wild, so to get this close to these majestic beasts without making them angry is nothing short of a miracle. Speaking of tourists having close encounters with leopards, here are a bunch of tourists who have just spotted one during their safari tour. It's the tourist's lucky day because the leopard doesn't look aggressive. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because even though taking photos of the beast amongst the bushes is fun, they're about to get something even better. leopard gets to within inches of the safari vehicle, which is extremely rare for these usually shy animals. Not to mention, it stops in front, giving the tourists time to take even more photos. This is an experience they'll never forget. In the depths of the jungle, two brothers hear some strange noise outside their tents, and when they step out to investigate, they discover something truly frightening. It's an actual leopard, just casually sitting outside their camp. The brothers know their life is in danger because these animals love hunting at night, and this one certainly won't hesitate before attacking them. A leopard walking around your safari vehicle is one thing, but what would you do if one of these bad boys decided to jump in with you? Well, that's exactly what happened to some tourists, and their reaction isn't what you would think. Leopards are inquisitive by nature, so chances are the big cat just wanted to hop in for a bit and inspect the Jeep. But that doesn't mean it can't be angered, so the tourists have to remain extremely still if they want to make it out of this situation alive. That was close. This is what happens when a leopard is captured after it has tasted human blood. This big cat was caught after it attacked a village, but while it's been contained in a cage, some may say it's too late, since this leopard has already turned into a man-eater and has become extremely aggressive. The rescuers are keeping it in a smaller enclosure for rehabilitation, after which it will be released into the wild. But if you want a reason for why that's not a great idea, this is it. You don't realize how terrifying a leopard can be until you see one in its element, laser focused on stalking and hunting its prey. The tourists are lucky enough to have found this guy walking alongside them, but what's fascinating is that it doesn't pay any heed to them, because it only cares about one thing: hunting impalas. The leopard is massive and even has a missing eye, showing it's been through some battles. But while all that's impressive, the way it casually prepares itself to obliterate some impalas on the road shows that this big cat is the real deal. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why leopards don't like people invading their personal spaces, and that's doubly true for snow leopards, which are even more reclusive. The tourists don't care about the snow leopard's privacy, though. They pose next to it and almost treat it like a pet, and well, let's just say the big cat isn't happy about that treatment one bit. The leopard is growling at them, warning them to back off, and yet they don't pay any heed to it, just because there's a fence between them and the beast. But of course, even a caged leopard can be deadly sometimes.